In this video, we will continue our discussion of our previous video that is how this CAR T cell can be non-effective in some of the cases. So we will cover this topic in two categories. First one is antigen dependent resistance, another one is antigen independent resistance. So let us start with this antigen dependent resistance. So what happens in this case is that this CAR T cells, when it is transducted into the uh, cells, the there could be a genetic mutation that might occur in the tumor cells, and that might lead to different kind of antigen expressed on the tumor cells. Whereas CAR T cells are designed for the antigen that are exist before the mutation. So in this case, a CAR T cells is ineffective to detect these tumor cells and release the immune response to kill those tumor cells. And another example is this transduction. Sometimes this transduction of this uh, CAR, chimeric antigen receptor, occurs within the tumor cells. So because of that, what happens in this case is that this kind of situation might occur, in which case this antigen of this chimeric antigen tumor antigen is been masked by this chimeric antigen receptor, as it can be seen here. And instead of killing those tumor cells, what this CAR T cells is doing is preventing those tumor cells from being detected by the immune system and helping the tumor cells to grow. And another thing that might happen is this trogocytosis. So what happens in this case, trogocytosis, is that this trogocytosis, when two cells interact together, the nibble of the cells take place. So what happens in this case is that the cells that express this CAR, this chimeric antigen receptor, when interact with the T cells, it will take the place of this antigen expression, and thereby leads to decreased expression of this antigen that is required by uh, uh, another immune system such as B cells, uh, in order to activate those uh, both the uh, immune response in order to activate the immune response. So since now in this case of trogocytosis there is a decreased antigen expression, so this will reduce the efficiency of T cells. Now we will discuss this antigen independent resistance. So what happens in this case is that with time, if this these chimeric antigen receptors are induced in a low amount, with time what happens is that the tumor will get adapted or evolved in such a way that it will stop expressing those that receptors on the cell surface. And in that case, similar to the case one where there is a loss of antigen, in this case the evolution of these tumors will leads to the loss in signals that express these that receptors on the cell surface membrane. Thereby tumor cells will prevent itself from being detected by this CAR T cells receptors. And next case is the case of the you can say classic immunosuppressive tumor microenvironment, because of the condensed form of this tumor that leads to the tumor microenvironment. In this case, the CAR T cells, even though it is close to the tumor, because of the tumor microenvironment, it will not be able to release those cytokines that might trigger the death of the tumor, because uh, because this receptors will not be able to interact, will not be able to detect the that receptors, this CAR T cells will not be able to detect the dead receptors on the tumor microenvironment because of the condensed form of this tumor, and also the tumor microenvironment will provide a situation in which the immune response is very low. So these are some of the problems that might occur while using CAR T cells therapy. If you need to understand more about this CAR T cells therapy and what are the problems that might occur, you can go through the reference that has been provided in the description. That's all for this video. Thank you for your time.